All right. So something interesting here. I haven't played this game in a while, and I think I need to go back and just see what's going on because I haven't played this game in months, especially after Battlefield came out, and I've been on the grind for mastery camos and stuff. By the way, if you guys want to check that out, totally can. I stream almost every day, and mainly playing Battlefield, trying to get the mastery camo. So if you go and check that out, and also I have some videos on unlocking mastery camos on most of the weapons that I have so far. I'm doing sniper rifles. Anyway, without further ado, the first Descendant stuff going on with Nexon and the first Descendant. Here it says, strong launch, no staying power. Nexon believes the first Descendant ultimately did not work. So, whoo, excuse me, sorry. And this is by WCCF Tech, which is another great source to get your gaming news and everything from. I'll make sure to have this link down below in the description. Now, let's see what is going on with Nexon and the first Descendant, because this seems kind of interesting. All right, so here they said that Nexon has published its capital markets capital markets briefing it presented to investors just days ago on March 31st, 2026, containing a litany of thoughts and insights into the publisher, where it has seen success over the last year and where it has stumbled. Those stumbles, according to the president and chief executive officer, I think is Jung-Hoon Lee is the name, include company's third-person UE5 powered looter shooter, The First Descendant, which Lee is very candid about in his thoughts on how the game is performing nearly 2 years after its launch. I forgot it's been 2 years. And if I recall, First Descendant is a free-to-play game. Now, that could have changed. I'm not entirely sure. I think it is a free-to-play game still. I'll have to find that out. But I just remember there has been a good amount of issues with the game, especially when it came to unlocking Descendants or parts for like a legendary or an exotic weapon, where you would have to do multiple repetitions just to get one part for a weapon or for a Descendant to craft. So it's really crazy. Let me put it this way. Let me break it down more. So when it comes to the Descendants, you would need to, in order to buy it, it was like a bio-generated, to create a person. It's like you need an exotic item. But the thing is, you need to break it down. You need to have certain items, like certain smaller items, resource items, to craft that, right? So then when you craft that, and you have to do it I think 4 times to do that, once you are able to craft it, then you're able to craft the Descendant themselves to be able to play as that character. That's what it is. Now the thing is, their RNG drop rate was very low. I think it was like a 0.1% that people just gave up on playing the game because they're like, what's the point? You know, it was like, what's the point of having that happen? Some people stuck with it. I tried it. I did it a few times, but then realizing that after every single Descendant that you are doing that, it kind of got irritating. So anyway, that's what was going on with the first Descendant, from my personal standpoint. All right, so then they said that after speaking after Patrick Soderlund, I believe. I'm sorry if I messed that up. The newly appointed executive chairman at Nexon, a new role that was created specifically for him. Lee begins by acknowledging Soderlund's candid assessment of where Nexon stands right now, and continues in that same spirit with a straightforward assessment of our performance since our last CMB in 2024, with recognition of what worked and what didn't. Okay, so let's see here. They said that the first Descendant in Lee, and ultimately in Nexon's eyes, is part of what didn't category, as he calls it out, alongside Dungeon Fighter Mobile, for having a great launch, but ultimately unable to retain its player base. Now, that is also a big issue that's going on right now in the game industry, is just in game designs in general in the game industry, is the retention rate of players, pretty much. Like we already know the first, probably like the first month, usually the first 2 weeks, the first month, player numbers are high. It looks like it's in good standing, but then usually after that, like the player numbers usually die down. You can look at it by like Steam. You can look at like just any game on Steam pretty much. There's always going to be some sort of fall off. Now it all depends on you know, the pros and cons of the game, of how deep this steep can be, or that decline can be. So anyway, so then they said that Dungeon Fighter Mobile launched with terrific momentum in 2024, then lost its way. The retention mechanics weren't strong enough to hold players long term. Same issue with the first Descendant, strong launch, no staying power. These are design issues that are not fixed with a patch. They require structural changes to game mechanics. And that is a very tough one. Like putting it in a, I guess in a reference to like a car, it's like, instead of like just like, hey, there's a dent in your hood, or like, you know, like a busted mirror and you can easily fix that, like a cosmetic type of thing. Being the game mechanics is like, you know, changing out, you know, like components in your engine, like a pit, like you have like a cracked piston, you don't know like exactly where, but you have to go into the into like underneath the hood and tear apart your engine to see you know, like which piston it is, and then you gotta do the testing of the piston and the power of your engine. Now I will say this, I'm not a mechanic or anything like that, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like you gotta break it down into figuring out like what works, what doesn't work. Is this new part of this piston that you just bought, or I don't know, that you could have created, I guess you'd say, does it work along with the other ones? Is it powerful enough? Can it hold its own, like can it do its own job and things like that? That's pretty much what's going on when it comes to game design, when you need to work on a mechanic or fix a mechanic. Because it's not just like, oh, okay, let me just code this. Now you have to test to see if it works, and if it brings any other issues to other parts of the game. That's the thing. All right. So then they said that that last bit is arguably the most damning of what Lee says. It also lines up with what Nexon said just a few months ago, back in December 2025, when the game's Season 4 update was delayed into summer 2026 as part of the company's attempt to reinvent the game's core experience. That's also that's a concern right there. The core experience, core game experience, or your design pillar. You guys probably hear me say it a lot. I will actually pull it up. What is a design pillar? So game design pillars are three to five core high-level principles, emotions, or mechanics that define a game's essential experience and guide development. They act as a pillar for decision-making, ensuring all features support the primary vision, maintain coherence, and help the team prioritize essential cohesive gameplay over unnecessary additions. And then these are the key aspects. They have the creative design direction, establish the core goals, emotional tone and experience, decision filter, help determine which ideas to keep or discard based on whether they support the pillars. And then they have the focus, cohesion, making sure that everything is aligned during development, consistency, make sure it's staying on track pretty much, and things don't change. So if you are changing a lot of designs, core designs, then you could potentially lose the identity of what the game is. Now, good or bad, it all depends. Now, let's see here. Where's the game core design? Little learning. Let's see here. Often called the core loop or core mechanic, a fundamental, repeatable action loop that defines the player's moment-to-moment experience and essence of gameplay. It answers what the player does, what stops them, and why they are doing it, serving as the North Star for all game decisions. So again, if you have like your core loop or your core pillar of a game, if you're having issues with this, that is not good when it comes to your actual game itself. That's a concern, because this should be, this right here, the game's core experience, there should be something in the internal. This should be like around the internal level of development. So it should be like your QA testers, your play testers, or whatever, within the company should be discussing this, and then this should be, worked on, resolved, and then put out. This shouldn't be out to the public. So this is not, it's not looking really good. All right. So then they said when the first Descendant launched, it reached 10 million players within the week of its arrival, including reaching a peak of 264,860 concurrent players on Steam. Tens of thousands of mixed user reviews over the last 2 years, paired with mixed critical reviews at launch, both of which cite how the game's mechanics fail to stand out among the crowd of free-to-play titles, and the game's future is very much in question. True. They said, but it wouldn't be the first live service title that Nexon stuck with in an attempt to turn it around for the better. If it hadn't stuck with Embark Studios when the finals took a dip post-launch, then we wouldn't have gotten Arc Raiders, and we wouldn't be seeing the finals currently enjoying an uptick in players after its latest update, which is true. We'll see if Season 4 update is able to turn things around, though Lee's comments do make it sound like the company is prepared to cut its losses should the Season 4 update fail to move the needle in a meaningful way. We shall see. Now, has anybody said anything here? All right, so then somebody said small maps, no sex, and repetitive. This is where people are saying, okay. It said, my take on it is that they are banking on the hot female characters and competing with a well-established game like Warframe. Sure, there's a small amount of players who are going to enjoy the fan service stuff, but ultimately the core gameplay needs to be solid and offer something new that grabs and keeps players. I don't think that there's enough cake under that Brady icing. That's okay. That is true. What it looks like here from all of these is that from what I'm seeing here, it looks like it's more of they're focusing on the player character, like on the character models themselves. It looks like it's focused on more on the character models themselves than the actual like game itself. It's almost like what is going on in the game industry now, where we're getting issues with with mechanics in games, performance, designs as well, and instead of it being fixed, they're like, hey, well, let's just add another skin, let's add a cosmetic, let's add another character to the game, which doesn't really help anything. I think that's what is going on. So that's all I got for this video. I appreciate you guys for hanging out in the video and let me checking out this article. I'll make sure to have the link down below as well, so you guys can deep dive into it as well. I might have to boot up the first Descendant at some point and probably live stream it or something, just see like what's going on in the game, because again, it's been a long time since I played it. So but yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about Nexon and the first Descendant. Do you guys think that they're going to cut the losses? Do you guys think that it could have a turnaround? Because I mean, again, they said they stayed with the finals, and look at the finals now. It's honestly, it's still a underdog in the FPS genre that people are slowly going towards, because of how Battlefield and Call of Duty are right now. So let me know what you guys think about everything that we have discussed here. And yeah, South Channel. See you guys later. Have a good one. Peace.